think about it. Okay.
I think so. Looks like it's up. Hey, thanks for getting that so fast. That would really help us trying to figure out.
I was gonna call you, but it was. Yeah, that's not bad. You're busy.
A little bit.
Mario, are you alone this morning?
How did I do that? I put that on the.
So we'll get a little bit of time. So I'll try. Minutes apart. I wanted to sign off for more, and then it's like, okay. But it's between one lap. Yeah, I think that's the
Process.
Saturday.
Right. And that's it.
I was told, like, Saturday I know. Are all the cities other than?
Good morning, everyone. Call this meeting of the Joint Transit Management Committee and Rail Management Committee to order. So one quick announcement I'd like to make is that one of our members, Julie Cairns, has announced her retirement from the city of Goodyear. And today will be Julie's last meeting. And I would like to just take this opportunity to thank Julie for all of her work and time serving on the committee and as vice chair of the Transit Management Committee. And we do wish her the best in her retirement.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, we'll turn it over to Pat for the roll call.
Good morning, everyone. Shirlene Pinella, City of Avondale. Harold C. Wensa for the city of Avondale.
Okay, thank you. John Willett, City of Buckeye. Ryan Peters, City of Chandler. Autumn Groom, City of El Mirage.
Here.
Dave Trimble, Town of Fountain Hills.
Here.
Mary Goodman, Town of Gilbert. She's on the call. Kevin Phelps, City of Glendale.
Here.
Julie Cairns, City of Goodyear.
Here.
Elijah Levon or Jacqueline Edwards for Maricopa County. Chris Brady, City of Mesa.
Here.
Chris Hallett, City of Peoria. Mario Paniagua, City of Phoenix.
Here.
Bruce Gardner, Town of Queen Creek.
Here.
Mark Melanchenko, City of Scottsdale.
Here.
Kristen Taylor, City of Surprise.
Here.
And Andrew Ching, City of Tempe.
Here.
Thank you, Chair. We're ready to proceed.
Thank you very much, Pat. I just want to remind everyone to keep your microphones muted unless you're speaking. If you've got a question or comment, you can just let me know and we'll make sure to call on you for that question. So now we'll turn it over to public comment. Do we have any speaker cards?
Mr. Crowley is here today.
Mr. Crowley? You have 3 minutes.
Being that this states that I've got to cover all of the 3 meetings, I'm submitting the minutes and my comments from the 3 meetings for 3C on the dual meeting, 1B on the RPTA, and 1B and 1C for the rail. And I'm can't wait to find out how you show those inputs into those specifics. I am perplexed. Well, no, I do understand that your transparency and for your accountability, the best thing you can do is limit public access and input into the system, which you have done, saying now that everything has to be done in the first part. Also, in your dual meeting on 3C, what that is you're having a blending and paying these people an exorbitant amount of money to do what? And it shows at the bus part that they're helping on the parking rides. But when it comes to it being a multimodal system, these people are in the, is that because you didn't give them the right instructions? I asked a question at the electeds, how many of them knew what the hopper was? And 2 of them were aware enough. The current legislation that they're trying to get through, I'm looking at that 3C that you have, and I'm going, until that passes, how can you say that you're going to be spending that amount of money over 5 years for 2 of them? You don't have any funding. I also was going to be discussing the lack of stops and that credibility. When I learned that back in '09, y'all decided that infrastructure was not one of the things you needed to do because of the recession and that, but that you would put all the funding that you could into lobbyists and this, that, and the other thing. But when it comes to bus stops, you did nothing. And I was given this document. It says that there are 11,000 1,100 bus stops with shelters. Stops with just a bench and no shelters, 600 or 860, and stops with only a sign, 154. For the last 20 years, you should have been building the system. You take that as being a compliment. Have a pleasant, I took the extra 7.
Thank you, Mr. Crowley. Okay, item 2 is the Chief Executive Officer's report. I'll turn it over to you, Jessica Mefford-Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members of TMC, RMC committees. Next slide, please. Thank you, Stephanie. Today, I'd like to give you an update on a number of our key performance indicators for our operations. I'll also provide you with an overview of some of the critical milestones for capital projects and some exciting events as we're approaching Super Bowl 57. Last year, this board and this committee made movement to authorize contract increases on a number of our operations, maintenance, and support service contracts. We are seeing progress at last on our workforce shortage. I want to highlight some successes and some remaining challenges for us. With our East Valley bus operations and maintenance contract, we're seeing just a 9% vacancy rate as of December 31 with our operators. And this is after a wage rate change went into effect on December 1. This has resulted in a significant reduction in the number of missed trips. We're still working with our partners, First Transit, to reduce attrition, improve our training outcomes, and retain more of these qualified operators. On the rail side, ACI, our rail operations contractor, is now fully staffed. ACI had a rather heavy lift because they were reaching not just for our current revenue service, but also the operators to support Super Bowl 57 in the beginning of revenue service on Northwest Phase 2, which begins just a year away. We're struggling still on our operator and mechanic workforce on our West Valley bus operations and maintenance contract. We've got a number of challenges we're working through with Total Ride on that particular contract, and I'll address their performance in just a moment. Another area of concern is our skilled trades within traction power, communications, and track. These are Valley Metro direct employees. We've been working together with our HR team to try and fill more of those positions. We have had some successes of late. This data is a month old, and it looks a little bit better now. But we're also, like our operators, we're looking ahead to the expansion of Northwest Phase 2 and South Central, knowing that we've got to grow this workforce and increase our focus on recruitment and retention. This is a conversation we'll be touching on in the months ahead. With respect to ridership, the second quarter, which ended December 31, did show a modest improvement in overall system ridership relative to the same quarter prior year. Much of that ridership growth has occurred on light rail and streetcar. In its second quarter of operation, we're seeing tremendous growth on streetcar, in part thanks to the arrival of students in the fall semester at ASU. We're seeing increased patronage across the board. Bus ridership really remains lagging. We're not seeing the growth in bus ridership that we would like. The month of December was a bit slow. I look forward to returns from the month of January. Anecdotally, I can tell you we are seeing more people on the buses, and I hope that with the new year and the arrival of new schedules and new routines, that we'll see some stability in bus ridership, but we'll keep reporting on this figure. With respect to East Valley First Transit operations and maintenance performance, we are, as I mentioned, we have seen progress with respect to our operator and mechanic workforce. It doesn't quite bear out on this particular slide because you can't see the trough that we were in spring of 2022, where we were seeing 6 to 10% of missed trips on a given month. Overall, we were experiencing about a 3% missed trip level in the quarter that ended December 31, and I'm optimistic that our January looks even better than our month of December. Next slide, please. With respect to West Valley, we are working with our contractor there on a number of key performance indicators, including missed trips, but also customer complaints especially. Spent the morning with our bus operations and maintenance team, and they are doing a fantastic job of engaging directly with our operators and contractors, and we are communicating very clearly with our contractor about our performance expectations on this contract. Stay tuned for more updates there. On light rail, our on-time performance has been struggling for some time. On light rail, we're getting hung up a lot in intersections throughout the valley. We actually created a new schedule for light rail service that goes into effect on this Saturday, and it's adding running time to the end-to-end travel time for light rail. We are optimistic that this is going to help push up our on-time performance and create more reliable service for our customers. We're going to continue working with our partner cities and with our rail operations contractor to try and improve that performance even more. Once we're past Super Bowl, we'll continue monitoring that performance and we'll make further adjustments to the schedule as needed. Because we're operating in a shared right-of-way on light rail as well, we've got to adjust our schedules in response to traffic conditions that happen around us. So this adjustment is our first attempt at optimizing that schedule. As I mentioned, we are hitting our scheduled trips at a much higher level than we were, thanks in part because of the additional workforce that we're experiencing with HCI. Next slide. On paratransit, again, working with our contractor, in this case, this is Transdev on our on-time performance for paratransit for both the Transdev directly provided trips and the subcontracted trips. This remains a key area of focus. Tom Young and his team are working closely with our contractor to affect performance in a positive direction. Ride choice, we are seeing good success with on-time performance. Our ride choice demand is up. It continues to grow as we're emerging out of the pandemic, I think as a tribute to this important service that is highly valued and much appreciated by the customers that use that service. We'll be moving through more detailed updates, and for the board in our meeting in 2 weeks, they'll receive a detailed quarterly performance update that includes key performance indicators. We'll also have an anecdotal performance updates for the non-quantitative measures. Last month at our board meeting, we talked about the APTA operations and maintenance peer review. Then board member Mayor Hartkeep Chandler asked for a quarterly report out on those items. And so the board will begin seeing that in 2 weeks. Shifting gears now to updates on our capital projects. It is an active time for our South Central and our Northwest Phase 2 projects. This photo is just a few weeks ago, and it is looking east on Washington over Central, just outside of our building. This photo, if we had taken it a month and a half ago, would have looked completely different. You would have seen a lot of orange barricades and street closures, but we were working very hard with our contractors, in this case it's Kiewit, and their subs to complete and hit the Mobility Matters milestone so that we could open up the downtown streets for Super Bowl. It's fantastic. We really hit a photo finish on that milestone, and I'm pleased with the work of the team downtown. This is the first time I've seen downtown Phoenix, by the way, not covered in orange construction barricades. It's a totally different experience. And I'm so glad that we'll be able to welcome visitors and residents from across the valley to a much cleaner downtown environment. Further south on the southern part of the South Central corridor, we're still working on a lot of our underground utility work. You can see work here. This is just to the west of the Rio Salado Audubon Center. We're working on roadway widening and construction of a roundabout there. We're also intensifying our collaboration with local businesses and the communities along the South Central corridor, working hard to make sure that we minimize to the greatest extent possible the impacts of the construction work there. Looking north to the Northwest Extension Phase 2, big milestones on this project. We've completed the vast majority of our underground utility work. This is a photo of our new track adjacent to the 19th and Dunlap station. This has been a heavy area of construction. One of the things that was not included in our original schedule, but that we work with our contractor, which is KMJV on, was to create a pocket track that allowed for train storage. This is especially important for the events we're hosting next week. So we will be storing trains. That pocket track is now open. We have what's called a beneficial use permit for that. And this will allow us greater freedom in train movements, which is really important when we're providing special event service, especially post-event service coming up next week. Then looking to the terminal point at Metro Center, the two images show the completion of or near completion of the parking structure. And then on the right, the bridge topping. We anticipate our construction on Northwest Phase 2 is going to be substantially complete this summer. We will move right into testing and preparing for revenue service operations, which are scheduled to begin 1 year from now. So we are now inside our 12-month window, looking ahead to revenue service on Metro Center. Very exciting. Also exciting is today we officially, together with our partners at the City of Phoenix, launched mobile fare. So customers can now use the Valley Metro app to plan their trip, get directions, get real-time alerts, next bus and next train arrival times, and purchase their fare. We're starting out with limited fares, and we'll begin one by one adding additional fare products to the mobile app over time. This live launch follows weeks of testing by Valley Metro and City of Phoenix team members, as well as a customer test group that has been working with us over the last couple of months. So check out the Valley Metro app, where you can now purchase your fare as of today. So super exciting. Another exciting announcement that we made yesterday in partnership with the City of Phoenix, Downtown Phoenix Inc., and the Phoenix Convention Center is a ticket partnership for Super Bowl 57. We are so excited that after months of conversations and working on this, we are able to see this come to fruition. And what this means is that individuals who possess a ticket to any of the Super Bowl fan events that are happening in downtown, at Hance Park, at the Footprint Center, where we already have an existing ticket arrangement, and the Phoenix Convention Center, can use the NFL One Pass and show their ticket as valid fare aboard Valley Metro Light Rail. That includes events that are happening on February 4th and 5th and 9th through 11th at the Phoenix Convention Center, and February 9th through 12th at Hance Park. This also includes the Super Bowl Music Fest that's occurring at Footprint Center. Again, that's under a separate agreement. These fairs are being sponsored in partnership with the City of Phoenix Convention Center, Downtown Phoenix Inc., and a number of downtown businesses that pledged the funds to support passenger fare. I think this demonstrates significant confidence in the Valley Metro Light Rail system to carry thousands of fans to Super Bowl events next week. Our operations, maintenance, and communications teams have been working very hard to support this event. I know we'll succeed. This is an all-hands-on-deck effort for Valley Metro. Team members from across the entire organization, including our contractors, are prepared to support this heavy lift and ensure a successful Super Bowl event. Today, we'll also release our pocket guides. We'll be distributing these across the valley and certainly at our stations and park rides over events next week. These pocket guides are specific to Super Bowl. They offer transit and safety tips, travel information, maps of event destinations, especially helpful for folks who are visitors to our valley or who don't come downtown often. We will have Valley Metro ambassador volunteers at all of our stations and park rides on every single event day from the beginning of our revenue service until the end of our revenue service, available to help assist our customers. Very exciting. So looking ahead, we have the Audit Finance Subcommittee tomorrow. Our board meeting is February 16th. At this meeting, we expect to have a study session, and this will be a fare program review. The study session is going to begin at 11:15. The board meetings will begin immediately following the study session. It will be great to maximize our in-person attendance at that so that we can have robust discussion during the study session. Looking ahead to March, we'll come back together on March 1 for TMC RMC, March 2 for Audit Finance Subcommittee, and March 16th for our Boards of Directors meeting. May I answer any questions for you, Commissioners?
Thank you, Jessica. Do any members have any questions for Jessica? Okay, I would just say congratulations on the lots of exciting updates, but on the launch of the mobile fare app today. That's great news. It's exciting for everyone. The announcement on the Super Bowl fares being sponsored, that's great news as well. Just lots of good, exciting news. Thank you, Jessica, for that. All right, so we'll move on then to item 3, which is the consent agenda. Are there any questions or any requests to pull any items from the consent agenda? Okay, does anyone have a motion? Got a motion for approval?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Say nay. Okay, motion passes unanimously. So that's our substance for today on this meeting. The item 4 is the travel expenditures and solicitations, which is presented for information only. Are there any questions on any of that information? Okay, item 5 is current events and suggested future items. Any requests? All right, our next meeting, as Jessica said, is March 1st at 11 a.m. That adjourns the joint TMC RMC meeting. And we will convene the Transit Management Committee meeting. First item for discussion is the consent agenda. Anyone have any request to pull either of these items off of the consent agenda? If not, can I get a motion for approval?
So moved.
I have a motion for approval. Second. And a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Item passes unanimously. Any requests or reports for current events or requests for future items? Okay, that concludes the Transit Management Committee meeting. Thank you, everybody. So next we'll move to the Rail Management Committee meeting.
Okay, do we want to give a moment to let folks shop? I'll just keep going because I want to. That sounds good to me. All right, we now convene the February meeting of Rail Management Committee. First item is item 1, consent agenda. Is there anyone who wants any of the items on the consent agenda, items 1A through D, pulled for separate consideration? Okay. Hearing none, I would ask for a motion on the consent agenda.
I move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Consent agenda passes unanimously. Item 2, report on current events and suggested future agenda items. Do any board members have current events they want to speak about or suggested future agenda items?
Mr. Chair, I would ask for one future item, which is to have a discussion at a future meeting on our light rail headways. And at some point, I believe we're interested in getting those back to the 12-minute headways that they were, and just like to have a discussion about when we see that happening, what kinds of things would trigger us coming back to that.
Okay. I see staff is making notes and we'll plan to have that discussed at a future RMC meeting. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, we'll close that item. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 1st at this location at 11 a.m. and we are adjourned. Thanks.